a picturesque Saturday in Miami for the middle game of a three-game set between the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Miami Marlins. After the fireworks after the game, it was fireworks during the game too, thanks to that guy right there, J.B. Shuck, in a welcome back moment to the big leagues as Miguel Rojas has a tough test along with the rest of the Marlins against that man right there, Jameson Taillon and the Buccos tonight. With that, we say hi again, everybody, and welcome inside the broadcast booth, Paul Severino and Todd Hollinsworth. So, the Marlins cooled off the red-hot Pirates in the opener. They beat them. They beat them pretty well last night, in fact, and they will certainly take it in the opener. And a big reason as to why was the guy who was in his first big league game since 2016, J.B. Shuck.
Yeah, he showed up. He penciled in 4 hits last night. How about it? Still hitting 1,000. Off for a year. Didn't find a big league job last season. Well, you know what? He's got a big league job tonight. So good to see for JB. I'm excited for him. All right, start off with the slider. That was the triple last night. Now follow along, everybody. This is why I'm excited. His next at bat, you're going to see the changeup. Yeah, that's staying on it. Front shoulder closed, drives it into center field. That's hit number 2. And we're making our way along. Yeah, right. 2 hits, 2 for 2. That's a pretty good night. I'm done. No, wait. Sinker. Yeah, that's right. Stay on it. Front shoulder down. Good timing. Drive it back through the box. And my favorite of them all right there, the 4-seam fastball. The Pirates are telling themselves right now, we don't know how to get J.B. Shuck out. We tried 4 different ways to get him out. He was absolutely outstanding. And you're right. This Marlins team erupted. We saw good hits, but guess what? They cashed him in. They got a little help from the Pirates, but who cares? Good win. First time tonight, the Marlins have a chance to win a series.
Absolutely. And now, here's the thing about J.B. Shuck. He didn't get out. The other J.B., Justin Bour, hit one out, and it's nice to see the power coming back.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, his swing is smooth. It seems to me it's back. I know we're talking over the last 3 ball games, 3 home runs, and I don't want to, get too far out in front of this, but again, when I see the tempo and the rhythm like we saw last night, let's remember the last 3 home runs, 94 miles an hour, 97 miles an hour, and last night, 96 miles an hour out to right field. So 2 homers to the left, 1 to right. Justin Bour is back. He's seeing the ball well, and expect that production that we saw so many times last season.
But again, it will not be easy tonight. Jameson Taillon is one of the better pitchers in the National League. So, a guy that has certainly been living up to the hype. How can the Marlins get to him? For more, we check in with Jeff Nelson on the other side of the break. Back at Marlins Park, Pirates and Marlins coming up in just a few minutes. You get a tough test for Miami tonight against Jameson Taillon. For more, back out to center field, Craig and Nelly.
All right, thank you very much here. Beautiful night for baseball. Thank you, Paul. And tonight we're going to talk about Jameson Taillon. The Marlins have faced just one after another plethora of aces so far, and this guy is right in the company of the other guys that we've seen so far. Where would you rank him?
He's got ace-like stuff. You know, you're talking about a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, a nasty breaking ball. To me, you look at some of his report card that we saw in the pregame. How about these stats so far? 2-0, 1.26 ERA. As a bullpen guy, you absolutely love him because he's averaging over 7 innings an appearance. 2 walks, and that comes to my point with 94% of his first 2 pitches are strikes. So obviously he's a strike thrower. He's not giving up hardly any runs, only 2 runs on the year. If I'm a Marlins hitter, I got to jump on him early. Now, he only threw 133 innings last year. He's 26 years old.
Right.
An ace, to me, is giving you over 200 innings. He's not there quite yet.
Yeah, he had that situation. Remember, he had the surgery last year, testicular cancer. You see, he's the 2nd overall pick between Harper and Machado. Fangraphs called him the best high school pitching prospect since Josh Beckett.
He's showing it so far this year. He's definitely showing it. I want pitching. Pitching wins.
You're right, and he also, like Beckett, went to high school in Texas. Beckett had a spring, he went to the Woodlands, but he was born in Lakeland, Florida, so he's another one of these hard-throwing righties with a Florida connection, but out of Texas as far as his high school goes, and he signed a bonus over $6 million for the Pirates to draft him in that spot. All right, so it should be good to watch here. Mr. Taillon, Mr. Richards, your pitching matchup for Game 2 of the series.
Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide by WB Mason. Who but WB Mason, the official office supply company of the Miami Marlins. Chevrolet, see your South Florida dealer today. And by your local Toyota dealer, Toyota, let's go places. Well, another gorgeous night, and yet again, the roof is open for the 10th time here in 2018. Evening up the score with 2014 when it was open 10 times. Still a ways to go to 2013, but we'll get there, I hope. Southwest brings us the batting order for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Once again, Josh Harrison is in the top spot. Francisco Cervelli, after having caught 4 straight games, got last night off. He is back behind the plate tonight, catching Jameson Taillon. Trevor Richards on the bump for the Marlins, and his first pitch on a couple of hops to Miguel Rojas. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the first.
A good start for Richards. Key to last night's ball game for Dylan Peters and the bullpen, I really thought, was eliminating the top two guys. You mentioned Harrison, obviously he's led off. He's already put a ball in play. Polanco, who's stepping to the box right now. Two big-time threats for this Pirates team. 0 for 8 last night. See Richards' numbers on the season. Has not gone long, only a couple of 4-inning starts. They're certainly hoping for a little bit more length today.
In this, his third big league start. And he faces Gregory Polanco, who takes a look at strike one.
For Richards, you're going to have the breaking ball, obviously the good changeup. Fastball, he's going to spot 90, 92 miles an hour. That will be big tonight. He's got to move it around the strike zone, set up the changeup.
Polanco 2 for 17 on this road trip for the Pirates, but those two home runs, or two hits rather, home runs on Thursday against the Chicago Cubs. His first two-homer game since 2016. 1-1 pitch is chopped over to Justin Bohr. Two groundouts here in the first inning.
Well, good signs. Richards early gets an out on his breaking ball. That's a good step. Let's take a look. The Marlins defensively for tonight's ball game, brought to you by Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center. Dietrich, Brinson, Schuck again in right field. Anderson, Rojas, Castro, and Bohr. Holiday gets the start with Richards tonight for the Marlins.
Yeah, you get 4 hits. You're probably getting back in the line.
I don't even think you have to ask, do you?
I don't think so. Starling Marte squares but pulls back for strike one.
Pretty fair assumption.
I would say so. 3 for 15 on the road trip for Starling Marte.
One for 3 last night for Marte. Had a stolen base, also a walk, also was caught stealing. Marte, to me, is their best athlete, their center fielder. He moved over when McCutchen moved on out to San Francisco with the Giants now. Marte, the everyday center fielder for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Again, the Pittsburgh Pirates, a bit of a different look as in years past. Todd just referenced Andrew McCutchen, the former ace of this staff, no longer here for Clint Hurdle, as Garrett Cole is with the Houston Astros right now. As Marte skies this one out toward shallow center field. An 8-pitch first inning for Trevor Richards. We'll see the Marlins hit against Jameson Taillon in a moment. Open up the series against the Pittsburgh Pirates once again. Derek Dietrich, who is settled in very nicely into that leadoff spot, is there. Right behind him is Miguel Rojas. And Miami established season highs last night. Runs scored with 7 and hits with 14. So again, they want to keep the line moving and continue some momentum and win back-to-back games for the first time in this young 2018 season. Dietrich digs in. Jamison Tyone gets set to deliver the first pitch of the night for the Pirates, and both leadoff men swing at the first pitch, and both are retired. One away here in the first.
Tyone off to a good start. Let's look at his seasonal numbers. He's already got a complete game one-hitter. Yeah, that was his last start. 1.26 ERA, 14 and a third innings. He's been effective. You see the strikeouts. That's the other thing that really stands out, along with the walks. This is a guy walking out of spring training locked in. Tyone taking it to the next level this season.
He gets the sign from Cervelli and deals to Miguel Rojas low for ball one. Rojas was 3 for 5 last night with a run scored so far on the homestand. 7 for 17. That's a .412 average with 3 runs scored, a home run, and a couple of RBIs. As he, along with Dietrich, have really created in the last week or so a really nice 1-2 punch table setters for the Marlins and Don Mattingly.
I've been very impressed. Obviously, Dietrich off to the great start, but for Rojas, watching him lately, over the last year and a half or so, I've got a pretty good look at his swing, and you watch him go about his business, and he'd had success in the 8-hole. I talked about it an awful lot last year, but at times you'd watch, he was a very good situational hitter, but he was always hitting to a side of the field. At least that's the way that I saw it. Like when he was really locked in, maybe to right, almost all of his hits would be going to center or to right center. And then there would be times where he'd be pulling the ball well. Right now, I'm watching Rojas. He's doing it all. It's been fun to watch. He's pulling balls down the left field line. He's shooting balls to right. He's doing a combination of both. And watching a hitter grow up in front of your eyes, understanding how he's being pitched and how to bring his swing and to make adjustments from day to day.
Grounds one to Mercer at short, who throws on the run. 2 up and 2 down for Tyone.
Charlotte Nation scouting report of Jamison Tyone. He's the new ace. Gone is Garrett Cole to the World Series champs. Steps Tyone. I really believe this. Somebody in Pittsburgh might tell you something different. Of course, he's pitching out of a different spot in the rotation. Now he's the reigning National League Player of the Week. He had a complete game one-hitter against the Reds at PNC Park. Here you go. The setup relies on that 94 to 96 mile-an-hour sinker. You've seen it already. That's where he works from. 71% of the time he's going to throw that, along with the four-seamer, and his put-away pitch, number 3, is one of the better curveballs in the game. Got sharp downward action. Throws at about 80, 81 miles an hour. So it's one of the harder curveballs in baseball.
To go along with that 95-mile-an-hour offering, he just blew past Starlin Castro. Castro was 1 for 3 in last night's ball game. Had a sacrifice fly, which led to 3 runs. Yes, you heard me right. A sacrifice fly, bases are loaded, fly ball out to right field, throw comes home, it's off the mark, so a run scores. And then after that, the Pirates had a little bit of a defensive breakdown. Elias Diaz throws one into center field, second run comes in, nobody's in center field because the ball was hit to right center. So Miguel Rojas comes all the way around to score. 3 runs in on a sac fly.
That was Friday the 13th. Suppose we shouldn't have been surprised, right? Starlin, before the sacrifice fly, is accountable for 4 outs, 2 ground ball double plays. Chases a slider down, out number 3.
Both pitchers go 3 up, 3 down in the first. Through 1 in Miami. Always nice to see. Little backstop in the house. Good seats. He must know somebody. That's my guess.
Pre-game ceremonies down on the field. Good
That's
to see CJ back to Farmers Park.
Absolutely, always a pleasure. Trevor Richards delivers strike one to Josh Bell. 4, 5, and 6 to up for the Pirates. After him, Corey Dickerson and Francisco Cervelli. An 8-pitch, 5-strike first inning for Trevor Richards. Of course, Richards coming off what was a rough start in Philadelphia. Not a horrible start. He was the starting pitcher the day that the Marlins won the series finale in Philadelphia, but just rough in terms of the weather. It was windy and didn't go as deep into the game perhaps as he would hope, but again, a couple of starts for him this year, both in the 4-inning pitched range and looking and hoping to get deeper into ball games. And he keeps pitching to contact. That might be the case. Another ground ball, one away here in the second.
He's doing a better job. Well, and not really. I guess we still kind of gravitate to that first start against the Boston Red Sox, where he was absolutely lights out the first time through the lineup and then had to make some in-game adjustments. And looking at his arsenal right now, his changeup plays here at the major league level, there's no doubt. It certainly fools the eyes of the big league hitters. He keeps his fastball in the same lane. The two pitches play off each other. I think really the key for Richards in his success sustainably is going to be his breaking pitch. It's got to serve a purpose, and that's really what it comes down to, and it hasn't yet. Although in this ball game, we've seen it work twice. He's got a couple outs on the slider. It's either you throw it sometimes at the front end of the at-bat to get ahead. You got to keep it in the mind of the hitter. If it's not there, they're not going to respect it. They're not even going to worry about it when you throw it.
Corey Dickerson off to a terrific start. He's hit safely in 8 straight games, hitting .469 in that stretch. Toward left center field, gliding over is Lewis Brinson. They're 2 away.
Hey Marlins fans, now you can stream games live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go, presented by T-Mobile. Download the app and take Fox Sports Florida and Marlins baseball wherever you go.
2 up and 2 down here in the second inning for Francisco Cervelli. A couple of home runs already this season, one of which off of Justin Wilson on Thursday afternoon in Chicago before the Pirates got here. Got last night off. Elias Diaz was behind the plate, but really the everyday catcher for the Pirates, who was 6 for 12 on this road trip with those 2 aforementioned home runs and 7 RBIs. Fouls that one away, and it's 1-1.
You race up and down this lineup. We talked about this a bit in last night's ball game, how good the Pirates have been offensively, leading the National League. Runs per game, they're already in the 70s, creeping up on 80 runs scored. You look at this road trip, and it's and I dug a little deeper earlier today. You've got hot hitters and really cold hitters really on this trip, and well, Cervelli happens to be one of the hot ones. So there's a few guys you got to be really careful of right now, and a few guys that you're like, all right, they're not really where they want to be. That one gets away from Richards. This was his changeup, and let's see, now it looks more like his fastball. Of course, you've got the elbow guard. Cervelli's reaction tells you he's going to be okay as he makes his way to first base.
1 on and 2 out as Cervelli's going to shake that one off, and Colin Moran digs in. 6th overall pick by the Marlins back in 2013. Was traded to the Astros in 2014 and traded to the Pirates in January for Garrett Cole.
Middle of a 5-game hitting streak, 9 for 18. See the start he has got going, a very good one. 343. He's got a home run already. This road trip 2 for 6. He is earning more and more playing time. Clint Hurdle is a big fan of keeping his entire lineup. I'm not just talking about your regular 8, but the bench players very much involved. We've seen in the early going. Look up and down this Pirates roster. There's a lot of at-bats for all of his players.
How about the return on that trade, by the way? Last night, Garrett Cole 14 strikeouts in 7 innings. The Astros are pretty happy with the early returns on that young man. Into the shift, into shallow right field. Castro the long throw to retire Moran. And Richards works around the 2-out hit by pitch. Through an inning and a half, we'll see Justin Bour, who homered in last night's game. Bour will lead it off in the second when we come back. Throughout the season, visit marlins.com/DeMelo to get started. Yeah, that's exactly where Justin Bour hit one yesterday. Beyond the fence, beyond the bullpen, in fact, and just a few feet from the second deck. Last 3 games for Justin Bour, he's got himself 3 home runs. He leads off here in the second against Jamison Tyone, whose first pitch, a breaking ball that misses low and in. After Justin Bour, it's Brian Anderson and J.B. Shuck.
2 for 4 last night. You mentioned the home run. Justin Bour looks so good right now. I'm telling you, people, much like last season, he started to heat up towards the end of April, carried it into May when he hit 11 home runs. I feel like, listen, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but just when you watch him day in and day out, you can tell when he starts to feel good about his swing, and he is there right now.
Well, that's interesting because, again, for me, for the fan at home, we see, oh yeah, sure, 3 home runs in the last 3 games. Of course he's feeling good. But what do you see?
It's his body language. It's, you know, you watch, you can almost sometimes watch. If you watch close enough, you can see anxiety in the hitter's eyes, his hands, his body language. Sometimes they move faster. Sometimes they move slower. I'm not just talking about Justin Bour. I'm talking about hitters in general. But you watch the rhythm that he's hitting right now. He turned 96 around yesterday like he didn't even try. Just saying.
Base hit out to center field to lead things off here in the second.
Just saying. 2-seam fastball. Comes back. Tougher pitches for a lefty to hit. He just lined it into center field. His rhythm is back. His timing is back. And that's what you get to when the ease of the game. And I suppose a way to say it so most people understand it, it's that the game slows down to the major league hitters' eyes. They take 96 and it looks slower than that. They're not overwhelmed by it. They're comfortable in the box, and Justin Bour's there right now.
Now 5 for 16 in, or rather on this homestand, as Brian Anderson steps in. He swings at the first pitch, just wide of the third base bag.
Pirates defense for tonight's ball game brought to you by Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Centers. Dickerson in left field, Starling Marte in center, Polanco in right. Moran gets the start at third base. Mercer, Harrison, Bell, Cervelli back behind home plate for Tyone.
Upstairs to Anderson, who was 0 for 4 in last night's ball game, 3 for 13 with a double and an RBI, and also a run scored. His splits and how he has been with guys on, with nobody on base, but overall the production has been there in the first couple of weeks of this 2018 season for Brian Anderson, as he leads all qualified big league rookies in hits, in walks, in average, in on base, and he's tied for first in runs scored and doubles.
Brian Anderson's making Marlins Park his home. I love to see this. He's hitting 8 of 10 games here. He's hitting 290, 289. Play half your ball games here. You certainly want to get off to a good start. Anderson has done that. Tyone willing to go to the breaking ball a little bit more here in the first inning. Certainly picking up on what the Marlins are doing. They've been very aggressive on that lead sinker or four-seamer that he's gone to, and you've seen some aggressive swings on that early fastball.
Well, you say half the games here, yeah, over the course of the season, but there's been a hefty home schedule to this point.
Well,
after tomorrow's game, it's 12 of the first 15 here before a long road trip.
Clearly, my point is that you're going to there's going to be hot spots for any young player as he starts to understand the National League, around the league, and he makes trips to all the cities that are in the National League. But when your home ballpark is Marlins Park, you want to be comfortable there too, and there's very good signs that he's going to be productive here. I had issues with that when I was with the Dodgers. My first couple of seasons, I was really good at Dodger Stadium, and then it just seemed like, boy, for whatever reason, my ball was getting caught. Just when things weren't going my way, and it can be bewildering to a player. You play there 81 times. That if you're not putting up numbers at home, you're always going on the road looking to pick yourself up.
2-2 with Bohr off of first. He doesn't chase, and the count runs full.
Marlins hitters have done a very nice job against Tyone, laying off the breaking balls. I mentioned one of the tougher breaking balls. Really keep your eyes set on. He has to start it above the knees to get it down in the zone. It's got so much sharp break, so much downward movement on it. It's bringing it in just above the knees, but it's falling out of the strike zone right now.
To third. Moran has the play over to first. A productive out, though, moves Bohr into second base. Sharply hit ball from Brian Anderson sets up a runner in scoring position for J.B. Shuck, who was 4 for 4 in last night's ball game. Had a couple of runs scored, one a extremely heads-up play, and also had a triple in his first Marlins plate appearance.
What I was so impressed with in regards to Shuck, as I'm learning about him as well. Obviously saw him in spring training a little bit, but first look at him at the big league level. I mean, last night, an absolute hitting clinic. Hit a slider, hit a changeup, hit a sinker, and a four-seam fastball for all 4 of his hits. I mean, where do you go from there? Can't say I ever did anything like that. You have your games. I had a 5-hit game and some other things that, like 4 of the 5 are fastballs.
Right,
it's just, you're on the fastball, you're seeing it well. Guys were making mistakes, and you're on it. Last night was a hitting clinic by J.B. Shuck.
He's had his contract selected from New Orleans, as Garrett Cooper extended to the 60-day disabled list, and Braxton Lee sent down to AAA. So up comes Shuck, and impacting his first game with the Marlins. 4 hits last night, now up 3 balls and no strikes, with a runner in scoring position here in the bottom of the first inning. One of the reasons why J.B. Shuck was called up, Don Mattingly says, gives us a little bit more of a mix and match. He's got some terrific speed, and again, we saw that. Good instincts on the bases as well. And now the count runs full. And I say the instincts on the bases because in addition to that 3-run sacrifice fly, there was also a sacrifice bunt with runners on first and second. Shuck was on second, bunted up the first base side, nobody covering home. Shuck came all the way around to score. Draws a walk.
An interesting at bat by Tyone, not so much on J.B. Shuck's part. I thought maybe he would be working around Shuck in that situation, as you saw him fall behind 3-0. He battled back to get to 3-2, but the 94-mile-an-hour fastball way out of the zone. 6 pitches.
So that will bring up Lewis Brinson, who is certainly feeling an awful lot better today than he had been the last few days. He got a base hit last night in the 6th inning. That snapped an 0 for 26. So naturally, during batting practice today, I went up to Lewis Brinson. I said, "You're going socks up again tonight, right?" And he said, "Of course." There's always something. Guys haven't been hitting really well, or balls falling in, or whatever it is. Different superstitions. Last night he wore the pant legs up, got a hit. Now we'll see how long he goes with
That's
it.
the life of a baseball player. People say, well, why do they do that? It's the rhythm of life, and their life is baseball. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely right. So he's trying to find a positive rhythm, trying to find positive results in the batter's box, and as soon as he finds it, honestly, he may be wearing the same suit jacket on the plane if he gets really hot.
Now grounds this one to Mercer. They get one and unable to dig it out. Bell over there at first. Brinson safe, and it's first and third.
Slow roller Mercer. Quick exchange to Harrison, who gets off a strong throw. It's low. Bell unable to come up with the short hop, allowing Brinson the safety at first.
So runners on the corners with 2 outs for Brian Holiday. He didn't play in last night's ball game. 2 for 7 with a double on the homestand. And Holiday splitting time behind home plate with Chad Wallach, Tomas Tellez, as JT Realmuto works his way back. Realmuto actually started a rehab tonight for Jupiter at Daytona. And wouldn't you know it, we've been hearing he's been feeling good. Chomping at the bit to get back. Realmuto homered in his first at bat. Now players get a certain number of time, certain period of time rather, in a rehab assignment. It doesn't sound as though Realmuto will need all of it, so probably expect Realmuto back rather soon. But for right now, it's Holiday taking strike 1 from Tyone. A 3-game hit streak for Holiday. 2 shy of his career high, a 5-gamer back in 2016.
You may see Brinson take off here. 2 strikes on Holiday. You've got the pitcher's spot up next.
Stays put. Holiday swung on and missed, and he's tagged out for out number 3. Second strikeout for Tyone. Scoreless through 2. To retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. Awesome shot there. Using a drone, I'm told, with Marlins Park in the background. Excellent work. Some kids at the ballpark. We got a band here.
Some spectacular shots of the Magic City.
We have a drone. I mean, we are
all sorts
cooking
of
with
toys around
gas.
here.
Roof is open.
Windows are open.
We're doing okay. So is Trevor Richards. 20 pitches for the first 2 innings of work. His first one, too. Jordy Mercer misses low. Mercer and then Tyone, and back to the top of the lineup, Josh Harrison for the Pirates here in inning number 3. Mercer out towards center field, a long way back for Brinson, but he is there to make the catch on the track. 1 away.
Young Marlins pitching staff start to pick up on how big this ballpark plays and the talent that you've got in the outfield, the ability to go get the baseball. How about Brinson? Great drop step, good first step, and then closing speed made this look easy. I'm telling you, that's a lot longer than it looked. Just running catch by the young man. I'll tell you what, I continue to give him credit for this. It's not easy for a young player who's struggling with the bat to not carry it out on defense. There has not been one instance here in the early going where we've seen Brinson not at his best defensively. He's been on his game on every play. I watch his jumps, and that's the first place you look. See a young guy and you think maybe the bats are getting a little hard, things are difficult. You watch that defense, he's been all on it.
Well, that's the beauty of it, too, because there haven't been many times, but if, I shouldn't even say when, because again, there haven't been many, but if he gets a bad jump, he has the speed to make up for it. He is like a gazelle out there.
You know, if that is the case, he's hit it well. Because the first thing that you do is I mean, just about every young guy, you know, you look up at the scoreboard, you see your batting average, you know you're struggling a little bit with the bat, is that you start feeling sorry for yourself, and a lot of times it'll drift right out on defense. That cannot happen, not at the major league level.
Grounded to Castro. He's
Anyway,
right there for out number 2.
first time through 5 ground ball outs for Richards. Outstanding stuff. 27 pitches. We mentioned deficiency. We talked about his first 2 starts being 4 innings. Second time through will certainly be big, but really a good start to tonight's ball game.
Harrison swung at the first pitch back in the first inning and grounded out to Rojas at short. He takes a look at strike 1 right there. Yeah, in terms of the efficiency for Trevor Richards, certainly got it working through the first 2 2/3 here in the 4 1/3 against Boston on April 2nd. 93 pitches in 4 1/3. And then 82 pitches in 4 innings in Philadelphia. He's throwing strikes. The Pirates have been aggressive, and that is his first strikeout. As a 10-pitch inning retires the Buccos in the 3rd. Still scoring.
to be Autism Awareness Day at the ballpark, and the other day, Derek Jeter, the Marlins CEO, had a chance to make a very special visit to a group of autistic children over at Citrus Grove Elementary School. Now, Derek said it was very interesting because no one knew who he was, but everybody, of course, knew who Billy the Marlin was. Billy was a big hit, so was Derek. They handed out some tickets. There's Billy, and we'll see that group here tomorrow along with lots of other folks. And for your ticket information, Marlins.com. Tickets for the ball game tomorrow, Autism Awareness Day. Much more, guys, on the show coming up tomorrow.
Tremendous, Craig. Thanks so much. Yeah, that is, it's going to be special tomorrow. There's no question about it. I know that we have given some of the details along the way that there will be a lot of fun stuff at the ballpark tomorrow. We're looking forward to that. Also, Jackie Robinson Day tomorrow, so everybody will be wearing number 42 in a tribute to Jackie Robinson. Richards retired on the ground out to short, one away here in the third. Yep, since 1997 that number has been retired. Only the guys who were grandfathered in. 97 it was still Rivera. I think Mo Vaughn was still around in 97. There's probably a few more, but then Mo was the last one to wear number 42. Except every April 15th. So we'll see that tomorrow. Special tribute for a special man in Jackie Robinson. Eric Dietrich looks at ball one. Dietrich flew out to left field back in the first inning. 2 for 5 in last night's ball game with a run scored. He has been hot on this homestand. Now 7 for 18 with 3 runs scored, a double and an RBI. Talked about some of the pressures for Jameson Taillon, if you will, with Garrett Cole now with the Houston Astros kind of stepping into that ace role. But this is a guy who has certainly dealt with pressure throughout his big league career, as he was the number 2 overall pick back in 2010 by the Pittsburgh Pirates. So you're always living up to the guys you're drafted around. Bryce Harper went number 1. Manny Machado went number 3.
Pittsburgh Pirates really do believe Taillon is going to live up to the hype, if you will. He's been hit with just some incredible unfair circumstances throughout his career. He's already dealt with Tommy John surgery. Off to a fantastic start last year, right? He's got a .9 ERA through 3 starts. Goes to see the doctor. The doctor says, Jameson, we've got some bad news for you. You've got testicular cancer. Go through surgery. Now he's handled it. Hot shot to second. Backhand by Harrison. Throws out Dietrich. Second out here in the third. Goes to the doctor, has the surgery, and is back doing baseball activities relatively quickly. Now I can't speak to obviously the time, but I mean, again, missed time for cancer surgery. I mean, you just leave it at that. Let you take it where you want. And that is why, in fact, his season last year was cut short. So he's given these glimpses of what he can be, and whether it's a top of the rotation type of ace and number 2, I think a lot of people kind of dream on him as to where it could all end up. But he's got to find a way, and again, stay healthy. Just go out there, 32 starts, 34 starts. That hasn't even happened for him. The young guys in this rotation, in fact, Taillon, Trevor Williams, and Steven Brault. Now, we're not going to see Williams and Brault. 7 starts coming into tonight. They're 7-0 with a 2 ERA. So the young guys getting it done. We were trying to figure out how in the world the Pirates got off to this incredible start. That's part of it.
Rojas down the right field line and hooking foul. Well, you're right. The timeline for Taillon was unbelievable, because as it goes, last May 2nd, he discovered that something wasn't right. Kind of found out on his own. He tells his brother, who's a 34-year-old pulmonary ICU physician here in Florida. By May 8th, the kid's having the surgery. And then exertion isn't recommended for 4 weeks post-op, right? 3 weeks after surgery, he's pitching in a minor league rehab game.
Yeah, light baseball activities a week after.
I mean,
I don't know how he got the clearance, but he did. So there you go.
And then 5 weeks after surgery, again, this was a huge story last year for this kid. And again, it's one of those stories that you certainly root for. 5 weeks after surgery, he's back on a big league mound, and he picked up right where he left off right after that. 7 starts immediately following the comeback. He's 4-2 with a 2.87 ERA. Three and one now to Rojas, who takes a look at strike 2. Rojas grounded to short back in the first inning. And he grounds one up the middle, a base hit here in the third. Another hit for Miguel Rojas. 8 in the homestand.
Capitalizing on opportunity to play every day. Rojas has really turned up the offensive game. Saw it at the conclusion of last year, and he's carried it right into the beginning of this season.
Now Starlin Castro, who struck out back in the first inning, one of 2 strikeouts for Jameson Taillon to this point. To third, Moran, long throw across the diamond, gets him by a step. Taillon works around the 2-out single. We're through 3, still scoreless.
Top 4 hit it out of the park with a family-friendly deal tomorrow. The Marlins take on the Pirates here at 1 o'clock. Get the Aquafina Family 4-pack and score 4 tickets, 4 Nathan's all-beef hot dogs, 4 Pepsi soft drinks, or Aquafina waters, starting at just $84. Get your tickets at marlins.com/offers.
Back here for the top of the 4th inning, Gregory Polanco, Starling Marte, and Josh Bell, 2, 3, and 4 due up for the Pittsburgh Pirates, who have been silenced to this point by Trevor Richards. Polanco grounded out to first base back in inning number 1. That's Laz Diaz behind the plate. He has I love the delayed demonstrative call for Laz Diaz. The rest of his umpiring crew tonight. Andy Fletcher's over at first. Manny Gonzalez at second. The crew chief Jeff Nelson is over at third. Not our Jeff Nelson. It's a completely different Jeff Nelson. Our Jeff Nelson is sitting right behind us. Ball at 2 strikes to Polanco. Wanted it upstairs, got it upstairs, but a little too high, and it's now 2-2. It's into the glove of Starlin Castro. Soft little line drive. And he puts that one away for out number 1. Here's a message brought to you by FPL.
At FPL, we're using technology to help us keep reliability high and bills low. That's how we're changing the current.
1 out here in the 4th inning as Starling Marte gets set to dig in. 35 pitches through 3 1/3 for Trevor Richards.
Richards has dotted the target. We've seen it multiple times here.
And now a little looper into the glove of Justin Bohr, 2 away.
When I say hitting the glove, you watch where Holiday sets up. You watch pitch, where it's going. Richards has been on his game through 36 pitches. Holiday wants it up. He hits it up. He wants it down in the dirt. He's getting it down. Very nice job.
Again, that last start was in Philadelphia. It was a breezy day. Don Mattingly said after that start that he thought that Richards battled even though he didn't have his best stuff. And again, that was shortly after the game itself. And then today, when asked about it, he said, you know what, the Phillies guys were dealing with the conditions too, and the Phillies guys pitched pretty well. So didn't want to make any excuses, but I will say this, just from what we've seen in the first 38 pitches from Richards, he has looked sharp. And they count 0-2 right now to Josh Bell.
I said it at the time. He just had to be careful with that Phillies team. They'd erupted offensively. But he did a nice job of working around the zone. There's nothing worse than going up against a team after they've scored 20 runs the day before. Every guy shows up to work the next day excited about what happened yesterday and what they believe is about ready to happen again that day. That was his start. That was start number 2.
A little too high, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, that's one of those days where both teams are excited to get to the ballpark. Both there early.
Put it behind you and let's do it again.
Pitch to Bell is a called strike 3 on the inside corner. Second strikeout for Trevor Richards as he's rolling against the Buccos here on a Saturday night. Still scoreless at Marlins Park. Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By the Cleveland Clinic. Stiff joints, aches and pains. Trust Cleveland Clinic Florida, the #1 orthopedic care in Florida. And by La Lechonera, the original mojo since 1970. Justin Bohr to lead things off against Jamison Tyone. Bohr, Anderson, and Shuck in a scoreless ball game here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Middle game of a 3-game set against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Team that has lost 2 of 3, Pirates that is, after winning 4 of 5. Pirates entering play today. I get that it's early, but 2 games up on St. Louis in the National League Central at a 9-4 record to begin things.
The Pirates' problem is it's too warm down here for them.
You're right. Absolutely right. They should have played in Minnesota where it got snowed out today.
Take. Tyone 2 times trying to get Bohr. Chase after that curveball. Back foot lays off.
Yeah, the Pirates, they started the season against the Tigers. They had to deal with, I don't know if it was snow or rain or whatever. They had to play a doubleheader on the first Sunday of the season. And they're in Cincinnati, they're Minnesota, at home. Yeah, I don't think they're used to the 85-degree temps.
It's too comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll probably go somewhere chilly after this anyway. They'll go home for Colorado. A walk to Justin Bohr. Hey, Marlins fans, be sure to tune in to Marlins Live, the pregame show before the next game, presented by your South Florida Honda dealers. All things Jackie Robinson Day tomorrow. Of course, every April 15th, that is the case, so we'll certainly dive deep into that. Also, the pitching matchup of Ivan Nova and Jose Urena. The finale of this 3-game set. Well, again, the numbers would be skewed, but the last time Brian Anderson was up, we were talking about how he's certainly been comfortable at home. And this is what, their 11th home game compared to 3 road games. But in his career, and I think this is certainly beneficial to the Marlins and their fans to say, have bat will travel, whether it's home or road, it doesn't really matter. Home it works though. Home for sure. A base hit for Brian Anderson, 2 on here for the Marlins in the 4th. 24 home games in his big league career at 262 hits. 15 road games in his career, 265. So, and he's kind of got that game that again will be good in any sort of ballpark.
Now nice at bat. Number 2. That first ball that he hit in the 2nd inning was a hot shot in the 3rd. Denied a hit, not this time. His hands through on the 2-seam fastball. The sinker got below it, lined it into left. So a real nice at bat. A good start to this 4th inning. Shuck walked his first time up. Became the first Marlin in team history to reach base in his first 5 plate appearances. Pretty cool stuff.
He's made it look easy.
Welcome to Miami.
Yeah. I mean, if he gets on base here, you got to seriously consider retirement. Just take it to the house.
He's definitely not playing the odds.
0-1 to Shuck. Taps that one foul. Cervelli tried to pounce on it quick, but I think it rolled behind home plate, so it's 0-2. Overall, last 4 starts for Tyone, even going back to last year. 3-0 with a 1.37 ERA, 27 strikeouts, and 4 walks. So good couple of starts to finish 2017. He's carried it over into 2018. But in a little bit of trouble here with 2 on and nobody out in the bottom of the 4th.
Defending the strike zone. Borderline pitches. Tyone. Shuck able to foul them off. Marlins looking for a productive at bat at a minimum here. Scoreless ball game. Bottom 4. Runners on first and second. Not a lot of speed on the bases. 2 strikes. You'd like to get Anderson and or up a base at a minimum.
Before getting recalled yesterday, Shuck obviously not a lot of time, just 6 games in New Orleans, but he was 4 for 21. That's a 190 average. But if you go back to spring training, he hit .364, 9 runs scored, a home run, 6 RBIs in 26 spring training games. And in a season where you figure there's going to be a lot of movement on the roster, he's waited for his opportunity. It comes, and he's made the most of it. Tap back to Tyone, who throws to second. It's low, and the return throw to first, not in time with Shuck's speed. And it's first and third after the fielder's choice.
There's a bat by Anderson. Low 5 just before as he leaves the field. Tyone steps out in front of the mound. Fields his position well. Slow developing play, able to get the out at second base. Too much speed to Shuck. So a run scoring opportunity still in play for the Marlins.
Brinson reached on a fielder's choice back in the 2nd inning. And a chance here to give the Marlins the lead in the 4th. Tyone's the kind of pitcher that can certainly buckle down. Overall this season, coming into this game, opponents were hitting .106, second best opponent batting average against among qualified pitchers. Only Reynaldo Lopez was better. Marlins trying to mess with those numbers a little bit. Dribbler towards short. On the run, Mercer makes the play to first. Bohr hanging on over there at third. Moving to second is Shuck.
Shuck able to move up a base on the slow roller to short. Bohr reads it. Does not believe he's got a chance to score. Does not even fake going towards home.
The intentional walk to Brian Holiday will bring up Trevor Richards. Now all you need is one of those things we got last night. Just, you know, have 3 runs score. Like it's nothing. Last night it was a sac fly. Can't get one of those right now, but I'm sure Marlins would certainly sign up for one of those crazy little plays that they had last night. They had a few of those last night, actually.
Take a wild pitch.
Yeah. Scored on one of those last night, too. They scored on just about everything.
Pirates were not at their best defensively in game 1.
Dribbler up the third base line. Cervelli spins and throws a strike to Bell. And the Marlins leave him loaded here in the 4th. Tyone works around a little bit of trouble. A little cafecito dig it. Through 4, scoreless.
He's like a model.
Game of a 3-game set on a beautiful Saturday night here at the ballpark. Welcome back inside the broadcast booth. Paul Severino, Todd Hollandsworth. Well, we've been treated to quite a pitcher's duel through the first 4 tonight.
Well, I think on Tyone's end of this, he did just throw a complete game one-hitter. What was his last start? So probably not surprised. We talked about his ace status and probably where it's going with the Pittsburgh Pirates. For Richards, I won't dare say it was a surprise, because I don't think it is. I mean, we fell in love with that changeup the first time we saw it against the Boston Red Sox, but it has been outstanding tonight. What I love is the efficiency. 41 pitches, 4 innings, obviously no hits, no walks, 2 Ks. He's pitching with conviction, he's pitching with purpose right now, and he's executing. That's the one thing that really stands out to me tonight. We've found value in the breaking pitch. It's got a couple outs for him, but really the relationship between he and Holiday, he is hitting the glove. Where the target is, he's putting the baseball tonight, and it's provided, obviously, what we've seen through 4 innings, which is nothing from the Pirates.
Corey Dickerson takes a look at ball 1. Dickerson, Cervelli, and Colin Moran due up here in the 5th. And listen, however this outing plays out, we'll all find out together as it continues to unfold. But a night that starts like this should really come as no surprise for a guy like Trevor Richards, who was the Marlins minor league pitcher of the year in 2018. So they know he's got outings like this in his back pocket, and he has been sharp against a Pittsburgh Pirates lineup that came into tonight first in the National League in average at 272. First in the National League in on-base percentage, slugging, and runs as well. So an offense that has been clicking to this point has been shut down.
Well, the early going, Paul, one thing that you have to watch closely if you want to figure out Trevor Richards is not by watching Trevor Richards, it's by watching the hitters. Pay close attention, see if they make adjustments. What does his stuff do? How do they react? Do they keep changing the changeup in the chasing the changeup in the dirt? All of these things are vital to reading how his arsenal essentially plays. And tonight it's looked outstanding. The Pirates continue to chase the changeup down in the dirt. It's getting great results.
See Dickerson choking up quite a bit, in fact, with 2 strikes, and he fights that one off. That's like Joey Votto right there. That's Anthony Rizzo right there with the choking up.
That works for him. He did it last night. He got a couple hits with it, actually. A couple strikes on him. Yeah, I've seen him do it before. Again, it is turning a little bit of a theme. Same type of hitter, right? Rizzo, Votto, you know, down by the end of the bat, but not afraid to choke up. What happens when you choke up? You feel the barrel, you feel in control.
Right to Anderson, who picks it off the dirt. One away here in the 5th.
Nice play by Anderson.
Start your day with First Things First. Join Chris Carter, Nick Wright, and Jenna Wolf for the best morning sports show on television. First Things First, weekdays on FS1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Your morning routine just got a whole lot more fun. It's Francisco Cervelli, who was hit by a pitch, the only base runner to this point for the Pittsburgh Pirates. He takes ball 1. 1-2-3 first inning. That 2-out hit by a pitch before a ground ball in the 2nd inning. 1-2-3 third, a 1-2-3 fourth. 1 out here in the 5th. That's how the first 50 pitches have gone for Trevor Richards. Just looking through the last 3 Marlins starts. So you got Harlan Garcia, who went 6 innings, didn't give up a hit in his start against the Mets. Last night, Dylan Peters, 6 innings, 2 earned runs, 4 hits. And then tonight, so far, a very sharp Trevor Richards here into the 5th inning. That's kind of what the Marlins need. They need more of that, certainly in a general sense, throughout the season. We get that. But even now, as you know, I felt like we were kind of like a broken record there for a few days where we kept saying, well, bullpens work a National League high of innings or a Major League high in innings, wherever it was. So the deeper into games they get, the better. Dietrich back, and he will have to watch this one bounce over the wall. And the first base runner of the night, who got hit by a pitch, also has the first hit of the night. Francisco Cervelli, a 1-out double.
Well, we mentioned it, a few hot hitters in this lineup. 2-seam fastball up above the belt. Francisco Cervelli, as we mentioned, hot on this road trip, comes in hitting .500. This is his 10th hit on the road trip. Well, bounce one over the left field wall. Dietrich was playing him more towards center field. Valiant effort. I'm sorry, he was 6 for 12 coming in. Now his 7th hit on this road trip. 7 for 13.
Colin Moran digs in with a runner on second base and 1 out here in the 5th inning. He's hit safely in 5 straight games. Another one of those hot hitters. 9 for 18. Coming into tonight, a double, 3 RBIs, settling in nicely as the third baseman for the Pittsburgh Pirates here in 2018. First base line, but foul. Home run, 8 RBIs on the season, but a guy who's hit safely in 8 of his 9 starts at third base this year.
Grounded out to short right field his first time up. You mentioned off air. I'll say it now. I don't think I'd seen somebody ground out to a second baseman as deep as Starlin Castro was. Overshift paid off.
Excuse me, dribbler up the first base line. Richards to first for the 2nd out. Up to third goes Cervelli with 2 away. The Marlins were not about to be had the same way that the Pirates were had last night, and have a guy come in from second base on a dribbler up the first base line. It looks like Mercer's going to get the free pass here and bring up Tyone. Not on Perry Hill's watch. No siree, Bob. That walk, the first of the night for Trevor Richards. Gets to face the pitcher, Jamison Tyone, with runners on first and third and 2 outs. Chop to Anderson. And a very nice 5 innings of work for Trevor Richards. Still scoreless though here in Miami. Let's go way back. 1969 when the Montreal Expos won their first regular season game outside the United States. 29,000 people at Jerry Park. Got a first pitch thrown from the stand. That's old school right there. You like those unis?
I do.
Look like a cold day.
It does look a little cold. Of course, it's 1969, so
Was it colder then?
not sure it was in high definition.
Oh, okay. No, with that
Oh, it was
camera,
in
I would
that.
say no. Call that low res.
It's an Indiana Jones prop.
Oh goodness. Yeah. There you go. Flight attendants or something are there. I mean, how come we don't dress like that anymore? Should wear top hats to the ballpark. Really class this joint up a little bit, no?
Yeah, you need to be quiet now. you don't need to give anybody any ideas.
Don't need to suggest a new dress code.
You'll find yourself wearing something you might not like.
Oh goodness, that'll be interesting. Something will be waiting for me in the hotel in New York, perhaps. Derek Dietrich takes outside. Like that. That's like the old Willie Stargell kind of hat there.
That's a classic right there. I loved that as a kid. Boy, I had to have one of those. I did. It's my favorite hat.
I think the Pirates wear those on Sundays. The black pants, the yellow unis, those hats. Sundays at home, that is. They won't be wearing them tomorrow, I don't think. One away here in the 5th.
Tyone has been impressive. A little bit of trouble, some traffic on the bases. And 76 pitches, bottom 5. Outs have made him work. That may be key in tonight's ballgame. We talked about this a little bit coming into the series. At the time, Pirates 9-3, we were trying to find that weak link. Well, the weak link happened to be the bullpen. In fact, that's where you were trying to get. I mentioned the young guns and the starting staff, as outstanding as they've been. The Pirates bullpen's got a 6.90 ERA in the early going.
Rojas pops up the bunt, and that will one hop into the dugout. Again, Taillon coming off a terrific start his last time out. Against Cincinnati, 7 strikeouts, 1 hit. It was the Bucs' first individual one-hitter since A.J. Burnett threw a shutout against the Cubs on July 31st, 2012. So snapping that drought, and he has been just about as good in this one. Rojas pops this one up behind home plate. It's 0-2. Mentioned also that Taillon, the number 2 pick back in 2010, as a high schooler, by the way, a high school right-hander who has succeeded at the big league level. That doesn't often happen. Rojas to Moran. 2 away. So Starlin Castro taking on the Pirates. That's brought to you by AARP. The numbers are pretty good. He's got a 5-game hit streak against the Buccos. 7 for 20 with a home run and 6 RBIs. Only problem is that nobody's really been able to figure out Jameson Taillon.
Good production from Starlin. He's got numbers that mimic that throughout his career. Talked about it a few times. He's been a very, very good hitter. One thing in the early going that I've been impressed with, and he hasn't necessarily been this of late, has been patient. Back to the opening homestand, trip up to Philly. Any of the starting pitchers really working around Starlin Castro. He's the most identifiable hitter in this lineup.
That one squirts through a 2-out base hit here in the 5th.
Looks like Arp showed up at the right time. Using fastball just above the knees. Grounds it in the middle for a base hit. 2-out runner. Right now, I think either team will take a runner any way they can get it. Pitching has been outstanding tonight. The key is it gets one of the Marlins' hottest hitters to the plate in the form of Justin Bour. 2 quality at bats tonight. A base hit to center field. I was more impressed with the walk. Down 0-2. Taillon on his game, worked around the strike zone, or did his thing.
Just to get back to that point on Taillon, if you look at high school righties who've gone 1st or 2nd overall in the draft, really only 3 of those 11 that fit the bill that had any real sustained big league success. Chop. Mercer waits for the big hop. The throw to first, and Bour is retired. So we are through 5. Both pitchers showing up tonight. Sports. tomorrow, Major League Baseball celebrates Jackie Robinson Day. We'll get you set for all the festivities. Marlins live on the air at 12:30 Eastern Time as we get set for not only that, but the final game of a 3-game series against the Pittsburgh Pirates before embarking on a 3-city road trip. But again, everybody wearing number 42 tomorrow in honor of Jackie Robinson. Josh Harrison, Gregory Polanco, and Starling Marte due up for the Pirates here in the top of the 6th inning. As Trevor Richards has been sharp to this point. He's gotten Harrison twice tonight, once on a ground ball, once on a strikeout. 2 strikeouts for Richards through the first 5 innings of work.
Third time through the lineup.
See if his sequencing changes. If the Pirates try to do anything different. Richards has been outstanding tonight.
All right, you say sequencing. What do you mean by that?
Well, you know, again, typically pitcher goes into a start. You know, he brings out his part of his game plan early. Try to leave something left for that second and third at bat. You know, you try to bring surprises. Now, I kind of mentioned this year that you see a lot more starters kind of bringing the whole arsenal out early in a ball game because they're not going as long, generally speaking. So you're seeing players, you know, back in the day, you'd come out, establish your fastball. I probably heard it a million times, right? Establish fastball command, find the strike zone. Chopper to the left side for Anderson, throws on the run. Well done across the diamond. We're out number 1 of the 6th. You know, just the idea that you're going to keep something for that second and third time through the lineup. So again, generationally speaking, my generation, a lot of times you see whoever it was, establish the fastball early in the account. Jump on early fastballs. Early in games, I did it almost my whole career. Got in that box ready to hit because I knew I was going to see a lot of fastballs. Guys weren't throwing a whole lot of sliders, splitties, changes, curves, you name it. You tried to save that for the second and third time through the lineup. Now, again, it's not like it's a free pass. I mean, there is some secondary pitches that first time through, but it's just that, generally speaking, that was the way. Today's game, you see it a little bit different. But for Richards, because we talk so much about his sequencing, because his curveball, or slider we'll call it, is it's been an okay pitch, hasn't been great. It's just been fastball changeup those first 2 starts, and he's found value in that tonight. You look at how the Pittsburgh Pirates are going about their at bats, and that's the point. You're like, you know, are they sitting on the changeup? Are they still respecting it? And you're still seeing an aggressive Pirates lineup that is willing to swing the bat even on a breaking ball down out of the zone like we just saw from Polanco. A few of these hitters are scuffling, but the one thing the Boston Red Sox did when you think back to that first start was forced him into the strike zone.
Well, I'm sure that pitchers kind of have to work to that spot where they have a couple of different levels, should we say, of a slider, for example.
Absolutely.
And the wipeout slider that you want, the bottom of the 8th inning, if you're still out there, game's on the line, is not the same slider that you need to pull out in the first inning.
Exactly my point. And that's, you know, as this lineup turns over, as we're talking about it, you're now back at the top of the Pirates lineup. And again, we've seen, you know, obviously Richards now in his 3rd start, we've seen every pitch out of his hand. This is a great changeup. Polanco still fooled by it. Wasn't able to stay back. In fact, was out in front. And just a little pop up to the middle of the diamond.
Here's Starling Marte with nobody on and 2 out. A couple of infield pop-ups for Marte in this one. As he takes upstairs, a ball on no strikes.
I've got 1 hard hit ball tonight, and if the defense was playing in a different direction, it might have been an out. And it's just Cervelli's double. All the other contact in tonight's ball game, even the few of the L4s, has been soft contact. He's broken a few bats. He's changed speeds well. He's got Pirate hitters off balance. It's a pretty good look on a 2-0 pitch. Starling Marte thought he would get a fastball in that situation, and he did not.
Well, Well, that's the thing. I mean, now in today's day and age of Major League Baseball, we always hear the three true outcomes: the walk, the strikeout, the home run. And strikeouts are certainly up. We get that. Pitchers, they want to miss the bat. Sometimes it's okay just to miss the sweet spot. And that is what Richards has done tonight through 6 amazing innings. But the Marlins need runs. We're scoreless.
Brian Anderson ready to lead off here in the bottom of the 6th for the Marlins, and like all hitters, he treats his lumber very well with a lot of precision. In fact, several times during the week he'll do this. He'll chisel off the pine tar and also anything that's on there because it affects his grip. He started doing that, he said, when he was in Jupiter playing in high single A here. That Florida heat and humidity was affecting the grip. So anything that gets on there, he works by chiseling it off. The combination of the heat affecting him. He also will clean the bat with rubbing alcohol. Now, he said he doesn't know if it helps that much, except it helps him mentally. And he told me, guys, if I treat my bat well, I think it will treat me well back. And so far, I think it has.
Thank you, Craig. Yeah, it's kind of like Joe Boo in Major League. You know, you got to have a nice home for the bats.
Support of everything he just did. I defend it.
It's into the glove of Josh Harrison for out number 1.
Yes, been asked many times. We're all a little off. Just saying. Ball players are a little off.
That's true. Customize your perfect mix of games with the all-new 10-game Flex Pack. Lock in seats for a Yankees game, then choose from the hottest matchups, including the Yankees, Mets, Dodgers, Nationals, and more. Enjoy value and flexibility to catch all of the action at the ballpark. Customize your matchups at marlins.com/flexpack. Ball 1 there to J.B. Shuck, who walked in the 2nd and reached on a fielder's choice in the 4th. All right, so the bats come in the box. You come into the clubhouse or the equipment room or whatever. You get left by your locker. Dribbler to 2nd. Harrison's going to have to hurry. And he gets shucked by a step, 2 away. What's the first thing you do when the bats come?
Yeah, I'm not sure we get enough time for this conversation. Between weighing them, you know, getting your pine tar on them, putting them where they belong in your, you know, in your locker, you know, which ones are gamers, which ones are batting practice. I mean, it is. I mean, listen, we're all, but these are tools of the trade. I mean, this is it. This is what helps us do our thing. Of course, I don't do it anymore, but you know, the hitters, I mean, he's right. He's absolutely 100% right. I mean, that's what he believes. You pull one out. I used to rank them. I used to take my Sharpie and, you know, I'd go through my dozen bats and lay them all out. I'd look at the grains. I'd weigh them. You know, some are just a little bit lighter, some are a little bit heavier, and then I'd go 1 through 12 and rank them.
Is that right? Wow.
One was your gamer. That's the one you used, you know, and those are the ones you kept for the games. And you know, 12 would have been, you know, a little roll of tape, put it around the barrel, and take it out the batting practice.
That's it. I'm fascinated by the whole thing. In your words, guys are a little off. But whatever works. I couldn't get past high school, so you guys win. Tyone works a 1, 2, 3, 6. Still scoreless here at Marlins Park. Another beautiful night here at Marlins Park. Roof open again for already the 10th time in 2018. And the pitchers, boy, oh boy, have they been terrific tonight. Trevor Richards has been superb through 6 innings, 1 hit. And he's thrown just 71 pitches, so it's been a pitch to contact kind of night for Trevor Richards. But Jameson Tyone has been just as good. Sure, he's surrendered more hits, but the all-important run column, zeros for both.
Well, let's rave about the Marlins pitching. Of course, Richards' outstanding job tonight. The leadoff hitter in each inning. He's not reached base. In fact, you go back to the middle of yesterday's game, I'll give you 10 consecutive innings. Make that 11. Pirates leadoff batter has not been able to get on base, and that is in large part as the Marlins are executing pitches and kept this Pirates lineup off balance. As I mentioned, Cervelli really the only hard hit ball in tonight's ball game. You see the zeros up and down the lineup.
That'll bring up Corey Dickerson. I mentioned it before. Harlan Garcia went 6 innings on Wednesday. Last night, Dylan Peters went 6 innings. Trevor Richards has 1 out here in the 7th inning. And the last time the Marlins had starters go 6 innings or more in 3 straight games was last July. Conley 7 2/3, Straley 6, and Urania 8. Just one of those things when a pitching staff gets rolling. That is what you want. Just, you know, that friendly competition between those 5 guys of, okay, can you top this? Can you top that? And tomorrow, that man right there, Jose Urania, will try to top whatever Trevor Richards does the rest of the night tonight. There's a look at Dan Straley, by the way, who had a start for Jupiter. At Daytona Beach yesterday. Of course, the numbers were not great, but nobody's really worried about the numbers. It's how does he feel, and he feels good. So it seems as though he will be coming back in rather short order, and that's certainly good. There's more reinforcements in this rotation as that one holds up for Dietrich. 2 outs.
Job by Derek. First step. Able to adjust on the fly. That's the way you say it for an outfielder. An outfielder transitioning to the outfield. Comes in and over. Good read. Makes you a little bit nervous. No doubt. Oh, snow cone.
Here's Francisco Cervelli. Cervelli's double back in the 5th inning was to your point before, Todd, the second hardest hit ball, but the only one that was hit in the air. Colin Moran hit one at 100.1 miles an hour, but that was a ground out. So in terms of, balls in the air, that was the hardest hit ball of the night. Other than that, it's been, like we said, miss the barrel, not so much the bat. And here you are with 2 outs in the 7th.
That's the game plan. He's done a fantastic job tonight, getting weak contact. From Jupiter, brought to our attention, JT Realmuto, as we mentioned earlier in the day, homered his first time up. Well, guess what? He's 3 for 3 now.
Been hearing for a few days now that he's been feeling good and was chomping at the bit to get back. There's another hard hit ball for Cervelli. Gets down. Dietrich able to cut this one off, and it will be a 2-out single for Cervelli.
Cervelli, a perfect night tonight by pitching a couple of hits.
Here's our Florida Lottery in-game jackpot. A Pirates treasure. Love that. Very nice. See how they did last year and how they have begun the year under Clint Hurdle here in 2018. 8th season as the manager for the Pirates. 44th overall in professional baseball. .593 win percentage. As Pittsburgh manager, 5th all-time for Clint Hurdle. Fly ball left side, long run for Anderson into foul territory, makes the catch. 7 strong innings for Trevor Richards as he has allowed just 2 hits to this point, but Tyone's been just as good. of work. He is due up second in the inning, so his day might be done. We shall see as he gets the congratulations from Don Mattingly and the coaching staff. His battery mate there, Brian Holiday. But yeah, 7 innings of work, 2 hits, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. And I would say, even though it wasn't necessarily a bad start in Philadelphia, this easily his best of the year.
Well, the efficiency. I mean, you've now set up your bullpen. You've given your team a chance to win a baseball game in 82 pitches through 7 innings. Yeah, you can lobby and argue that hey, maybe he goes back out for the 8th, but why? He's coming off, as you said, a couple of 4-inning appearances, starts. Great stuff tonight. One thing that was really sitting in the back of my mind, he had to find value with his slider tonight. He did. Changeup was down. Best way to say it is this, even from a hitter's perspective. Brian Holiday put the glove tonight. Trevor Richards put the pitch, and that is the #1 reason why he is sitting on this outstanding outing.
It will be Holiday. Looks like Tomas Tellez to hit for Richards, and then back to the top of the order, and Derek Dietrich for Michael Feliz, who is in. The day is done for Jameson Taillon, and for as good as Richards was, Taillon was just as good. 6 innings for him, 4 hits, 3 walks, and 2 strikeouts.
6 more shutout innings.
But the bullpen has been the Achilles heel in the first couple of weeks for the Pittsburgh Pirates, so it's time for the Marlins to make a scoreless game at the bottom of the 7th inning. Feliz worked the scoreless 7th Thursday in Chicago. The young man hasn't allowed a run over his last 5 appearances.
He's got a big arm, fastball, slider. That's the combination. 96, 95, 96 on the fastball. Predominantly uses it 80% of the time. The occasional slider.
Holiday out towards center field, and that will hang up for Marte. 1 away. Here's a message brought to you by FPL.
At FPL, we're using technology to help us keep reliability high and bills low. That's how we're changing the current.
And it will be Tomas Tellez to hit for Richards, who has got to feel good about the outing tonight. So Tellez, mostly out of a pinch hitting role this year for the Miami Marlins, has succeeded. 6 for 21 as a pinch hitter last year. He succeeded in the past. This year he's trying to get back on the good side. He's 1 for 6 so far in 2018. Wave taking over Marlins Park. How about that? Marte in his tracks in a few steps, and 2 outs here in the 7th. That looks like Vincent Trocheck, Florida Panthers. Pittsburgh guy. Panthers just narrowly missing out on the Stanley Cup playoffs. He's a Pittsburgh guy, and the Penguins are even in their series against the Philadelphia Flyers. Penguins looking for 3 straight Stanley Cups.
Is this your inner NHL Network stuff talking right now? Or is that because you're now a fan of South Florida sports?
What's the best way I could put this without alienating myself? I've paid close attention to the Penguins in your life. How's that sound?
I understand.
Is that a way to put it?
Well, you possess strong knowledge of.
I share a birthday with Super Mario Lemieux.
Well, okay, I get it.
So
I mean, if I did, I wouldn't know it. I guess that's my point.
Yes, in a past life, I had to pay close attention to the National Hockey League. Actually, in 2 past lives, I did, frankly.
Job well done.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just making sure so that when, over the course of time, we have guests and different people into the booth, hockey players and whatnot.
Sure, yeah.
I know who's going to drive the conversation.
Absolutely.
Because for me, it's usually like, hey, how's it going? And then I'm like, done.
That's all I prepared tonight. Yeah. Now, I will say this.
I heard you're good at hockey.
So you can skate. What's that like? 1, 2, 3 inning for Phillies. We are through 7 in a scoreless ball game on a Saturday in Miami. Game summary is strictly pitching tonight, as both guys had it early and often. Trevor Richards, 7 really strong innings, longest outing of his big league career, just 2 hits allowed against a Pittsburgh Pirates lineup that came into this ball game with the best batting average in the National League. Walked 1, struck out 2, but Jameson Taillon was just about as good. As it's a battle of the bullpens now. Taillon 6 innings and 4 hits in his night, as you pair that with his complete game and shutout his last time out. Taillon is rolling. Drew Steckenrider in his 8th ball game this year for the Marlins will face Mercer. And it looks like Adam Frazier in the on-deck circle before things turn back to the top of the lineup in Josh Harrison. Mercer a fly out in the 3rd and an intentional walk in the 5th. And a strikeout for Steckenrider, 1 away here in the 8th.
Surprise, he has been dialing up the strikeouts since the start of the season. So is his bullpen. It's number 9 now in 7 innings for Steckenrider.
It is, in fact, Adam Frazier to pinch hit here in the 8th inning. Frazier down the left field line, but this one will slice into the seats. And it's a ball and a strike to Frazier, who went 2 for 5 with a solo home run. Served as the leadoff hitter Thursday in Chicago in their series finale. A series in which the Pirates took 2 out of 3 from the Chicago Cubs. They lost the middle game of that series. They lost last night, so the Buccos have lost 2 of 3 after winning 4 of 5. Saw Frazier last night, grounded out as a pinch hitter. 2 for 8 on the road trip for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Credit this Marlins staff, starters and staff. They have been so good in this Pirates series. 17 innings. The Pirates, we've mentioned a few different times, coming in ranking in the top 2, batting average, runs scored, RBI, slug percentage, on base percentage. I mean, doing everything. This Marlins staff has shut them down. This bullpen has been outstanding for the Marlins of late. Steckenrider, Tazawa, Bearclaw, Guerrero, hard throwers in that Marlins bullpen. 29 innings collectively, 42 strikeouts. This Pirate offense hitting 132 in the series so far, 7 for 53. Woo. They came in hot. They've been cooled off.
Ball 4, 1-on-1 out here in the 8th inning. Coming up tomorrow, an afternoon affair here at Marlins Park to wrap up the 3-game set and to wrap up the homestand. As Jose Urena gets the ball for the Marlins up against Ivan Nova for the Pirates. First pitch a little after 1 p.m. A 1:10 first pitch. Marlins live on the air at 12:30 tomorrow. Very special Jackie Robinson Day around Major League Baseball. Everybody wearing number 42 tomorrow. Also see plenty of tributes, I'm sure, with probably some different shoes. Guys mix it up. They have the likeness of Jackie Robinson on their shoes or their batting gloves, and the way that Jackie Robinson opened the door for so many in Major League Baseball back in 1947. And again, for my money, best tribute that there is. 750 players, coaches, managers, all wearing one man's number tomorrow. Harrison's 0 for 3 in this one. A couple of ground outs and a strikeout. Harrison, one of those guys who has been hot. 10 for 34 coming into this ball game. Runner goes. Throw down to second is in time. Holiday throws a strike, and Frazier is caught stealing.
Now, the Marlins catchers have done a fantastic job defensively in the absence of JT Realmuto. 4th time this season Brian Holiday has thrown out a base runner. Go right on the money, no doubt about it.
And 1-2. Swing and a miss. Tag him out. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Steckenrider. We go to the last of the 8th, still scoreless. Again, it's the year of the fan here in a partnership with AutoNation, which is America's largest automotive retailer. The Marlins and AutoNation awarding a prize of a 24-month car lease to a select fan tonight. So how about that? Go to the ballpark, enjoy yourself a what's turned out to be a pitcher's duel, and then you get a little car lease. I think that's a nice night at the yard. A lot of folks would sign up for that. I think a lot of folks did sign up for that. Unfortunately, only one winner, so congrats. But who will win this ball game? Miguel Rojas will lead things off at the bottom of the 8th inning. Starlin Castro, Justin Bour. 0-0. Paul Severino, Todd Hollandsworth here with you on a beautiful night in Miami. George Contos will take over out of the bullpen for the Pittsburgh Pirates, their 3rd pitcher of the night. Inside on Rojas. A ball and no strikes.
Well, we mentioned some vulnerability. This Pirates team has been the bullpen. You see the 6 ERA with George Contos. Just about everybody has been touched up a little bit. 6.90 ERA for the group.
Contos threw a scoreless 8th inning on Thursday at Wrigley Field. Didn't see him in last night's ball game. Jameson Tyone went the first 6, gave up 4 hits. Michael Feliz worked the 7th, had a strikeout. Now Contos takes over in the 8th. Rojas may have broken his bat. Little flare out to left field, but Dickerson is there for out number 1. It's time now for our Toyota Inside Look. Lowest chase percentage when the guys are ahead in the count, as the Miami Marlins very disciplined, not chasing pitches outside the strike zone. Only St. Louis and Houston have, I guess, what you could consider a better eye in layman's terms.
Well, and a lot of it has to do with the swings as well, Paul. It's not merely just having that great eye, which is certainly part of it. But again, you look at the approach of a lot of the Marlins hitters. They don't possess as much power as some other teams around the game, but they also don't play in a home ballpark that is, helpful in that capacity. So good to see them putting together. We've talked about it in spring training. Many of the players talked about it, moving the line, having a good offensive approach collectively, going the other way, shortening the swing. Some of the other teams out there willing to sacrifice plate discipline for power. Bigger the swing, generally speaking, you may run into a few more home runs, but you're also going to miss a few more pitches.
Castro had a hit in the 5th. 1 for 3 on the night. Out to center field, a line drive base hit for Castro. A multi-hit game for the Marlins second baseman. 1 on and 1 out in the 8th.
Slider stays out. See the dot, didn't do much. Contos has a pretty deep arsenal. Cutter slash slider. Just spins to the middle of the plate. Starlin does what he should. Rips it into center field. Jumping all over the mistake. Brings up the big guy. 4-0 for 1 in his career versus Contos.
Bour singled in the 2nd, walked in the 4th. Grounded out in the 5th. First meeting for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Well, that's their second.
Scoreboard.
Yeah, you're right. I lied. I told you I was going to spend all kinds of time looking it up last night. I spent about 30 seconds.
I saw Cervelli come out of his crowds, I looked right up at the scoreboard. See how many we had going.
Yeah, I tried. I looked. I didn't spend too much time on it.
I guess we try to get used to this, right? I still find it funny, you know. We keep in track of the mound visits, but it's certainly understand for the betterment of the game, speeding it up. And there's definitely been a few abusers, particularly in the Central Division, who like to go to the mound this time of game.
That one just a bit low, and it's 1-1. Yeah, I'm kind of split on that, I guess. If there's a foul ball, I'll explain. I like the quick pace. Put it that way first. I'll lay the groundwork with that statement. I get we got to limit it, right? Because sometimes, you know, you go out there 20,000 times in a game, it's too much. But you think of the other sports, the NFL, you got a couple of guys on the field who have the headsets, they can communicate with the coach. The NBA, point guard can walk the ball up the court or go over and talk to the coach during foul shots. Hockey, there's shifts all the time, so you can go and talk with your coach and regroup. Baseball, you don't really have that. But I like the pace. It's good pace. We can put the soapbox back now if you want. 2-1 to Justin Bohr. He swings and fouls it straight back. 2-2.
A very healthy swing at the cut fastball. Over the last 3 or 4 games, Bohr really locked in. Watch the tempo, his body language, it slows down. It's moments late in the game. Mentioned it with Rojas, how he breathes much slower in almost all of his at-bats. Some very similar pattern with JB.
And he laces this one out to right field, but Polanco had him shaded up maybe a little bit toward right center field, got over there in time for the second out.
Watch every out-of-market regular season game live at home, in the office, or on the go with MLB.tv. Your subscription includes MLB at-bat premium, allowing you to watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details.
No, Brian Anderson with 1 on and 2 out in the bottom of the 8th inning. Anderson singled back in the 4th.
A real nice at-bats against Tyone. First 2 times up, was robbed of a hit. Got a hit, second time up.
Check on Castro, who got his first hit in now 6 at-bats against George Contos in his career. But other than that, not a lot of guys have much of a book on the right-handed reliever. Anderson's never seen him. Although I'm sure we'll get a lot of that throughout the year, as there were, what, 12 guys on this roster that made their first opening day roster for the Marlins. So
Brad Ziegler thinking about getting ready.
pondering. Another check on Castro, and he's back. Ziegler's only had the one save opportunity. He's hoping for another one. That was in Philadelphia on Sunday. But the Marlins got to get a run across. It's been hard to come by for both teams. Just 2 hits for the Pirates tonight, 5 for the Marlins. Starters, spectacular. Tyone 6 scoreless. Richards 7 scoreless. And that's past Mercer into left center field. Castro will head toward third. It is the second hit of the night for Brian Anderson, and the game's first run is 90 feet away.
Quality at bat. Brian Anderson, slider, stayed up above the knees, stays on it, head down, drives it through the middle. Second hit of the game for Anderson. 3 hard hit balls tonight. Starlin Castro. 2 strikes, 2 outs. You're off with contact. Does a nice job getting himself over to third base. A little extra around third. Certainly want to set up first and third. We've seen in this series already. A wild pitch score, a run for the Marlins last night.
So now it's J.B. Shuck, a guy who had 4 hits in last night's ball game. He's walked, reached on a fielder's choice, and grounded out back in the 6th. To the right side, Harrison is there, and we go to the 9th inning. Still 0s on the board. He hit it hard right to Harrison. Bullpen is brought to you by the Florida Lottery. It's good to have options. That's why the Florida Lottery has over 70 unique scratch-off games, so add a little play to your day with these new games. The Florida Lottery, it's your ticket. Claim it. Must be 18 or older to play. Play responsibly. Brad Ziegler in the game now for the Marlins. Not a save situation, but would like to get this one at the bottom of the 9th inning for the Marlins and a chance to win in walk-off fashion again. His 6th outing of the year. Numbers a little bit skewed by one rough outing, but other than that, Ziegler has been sharp. Gave up 4 runs in an inning and 2/3 in the second game of the season, or his second game of the season, by the way. But outside of that, just 1 run in the 4 other outings. Polanco, Marte, and Bell for the Pirates here in the 9th.
Ziegler has been particularly good against the lefties. 182 in the early going. Righties a little more success. 333. You should get 2 lefties this inning.
Fouled away, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Just about 2 games here, the Marlins have kept Polanco quiet. Something that in the first couple of weeks of the major league season, the opponent has not been able to do. Guy who leads the majors in RBIs. Will chop one to Castro. 1 away. Let's check in with Craig.
Thank you, Paul. Derek Dietrich has some very special fans here at the ball game tonight. They just happen to get some seats right in front of him here. Bryce and Holly Nelson, originally from San Diego, just moved here. But when Dietrich made his major league debut in 2013, it was at Petco Park in San Diego, and they had seats right in the front. She has a professional camera, and Derek's parents came out, and they were sitting a little bit further away. So she said, why don't I take some pictures with my nice camera, and I'll send them to you. So she sent about 100 pictures to the family, and ever since then, they've been very close friends. So they see Derek every year. They were at batting practice today, and they got all those great pictures from his debut at Petco, and they've stayed in close contact, and they were at batting practice here on the field tonight. Pretty cool story. Get a good look at Derek Dietrich doing a nice job now in left field for the Marlins.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure that that's good. Your major league debut, I'm sure that day goes by in something of a blur. So to have some kind of recollection of it somehow, some way, certainly cool. He's down the bunt, does Marte. Ziegler throws to first. Marte just too quick. A bunt single with 1 out here in the 9th.
You're right, Paul, about that. Marte, perfect bunt. Ziegler does everything in his power to get off the mound and field the bunt. In anticipation of the throw, in good position, good throw. Marte just flat out beats it down the line. Pirates in business now in the 9th. Marte, stolen base threat. This Pirates team, they don't run a ton. Marte 4 for 6 on the season.
Called strike to Josh Bell, who's 0 for 3 tonight, struck out in the 4th inning. First time Ziegler has faced Josh Bell. Bell, a guy who finished 3rd in the National League Rookie of the Year last year. Cody Bellinger running away with that award. Paul DeYoung finished 2nd. But Bell certainly a promising youngster for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Runner started and stopped, and it gets by Castro into right center field. I'm not sure if that was a really good bluff or if Marte may have lost his footing.
And I wonder if that messed with the timing of Starlin Castro at second base. And that was a good enough, I'll call it a fake ghost stop. Yeah, look at Starlin. Well, it kind of got him going in that direction. He goes to the backhand. That's going to be a base hit to center field. Chose to go to the backhand. Pirates now in business.
So 1st and 3rd and 1 out for Corey Dickerson. He's hit safely in 8 straight games. 0 in the hit column to this point. He squares to bunt, pops it up. It's going to be over the head of Ziegler, and I think a mistake that just really worked out perfectly for the Pirates.
Unbelievable.
When you really sit back and think about it, how this game has played here in the ninth, scoreless until now. Great defense, great pitching. And a pop-up bunt off the bat of Dickerson. I'd have to say I'm unlikely to do it, but does it. Falls in no man's land. Ziegler racing in to field the bunt. Starlin Castro back at double play depth. The grass past the mound and in front of second has now become no man's land. It's a safety squeeze. Marte was not off with the bunt.
That is how the game's first run scores. Well, we saw some weird ways of run scoring in last night's ball game. But an infield, a bunt single there for Dickerson has the Pirates up 1-0. Inside to Francisco Cervelli, who's got a couple of hits. He's reached all 3 times to the plate today. Was hit by a pitch in the second, a hard hit double in the 5th, and a single in the 7th inning. .500th start as a catcher for Francisco Cervelli. The everyday man behind the plate for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Takes a look at ball 3, 3-1. The inning started with a Polanco ground out. Marte singled, Bell singled, and Corey Dickerson with a safety squeeze that popped up over the head of Brad Ziegler, who was coming in. Fell in the middle of nowhere and a run scored. Now a sharply hit ball to second base. Castro to second for 1. On to first, the double play. So that will end the inning, but the Pirates push one across. They have got a 1-0 lead going to the bottom of the ninth. Low fares, nothing to hide, by Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center, in pursuit of your cure, and by your South Florida Honda dealers. Back here in Miami, a gorgeous night. We have had a great ball game. Pitchers duel all the way to the 9th inning. Nothing on the board until a little pop-up bunt went over the head of Brad Ziegler, and the Pirates scored on that play. They lead it 1-0. Is the catch of the game, not our game, but the catch of the game brought to you by Bonefish Grill. We got to go up to Boston. Look at Jackie Bradley Jr. I don't care what the catch probability was. He's got no business making that catch, but that's just how good he is out there in right center field at Fenway.
Top of his gloves on the grass, picked right off the turf.
No trap.
Could have been a showstopper.
It could have been. I mean, Adam Jones has made a couple of great plays in his career. So he's, I guess, used to it in a way. Oh, well. Felipe Vasquez will take over. Try to close this one out for the Pittsburgh Pirates. He'll face Brinson, Holiday, and a pinch hitter for the Marlins here in the 9th inning. Brinson reached on a fielder's choice back in the 2nd. A couple of ground outs as well. 98 miles an hour upstairs from Vasquez, who's formerly known as Felipe Rivero, by the way. But he's very close to his sister, Priscilla, and he changed his last name to reflect hers. It was actually his sister who urged him to change agents, and she was the one that helped him negotiate his contract, and I would say she did a nice job. 4 years, $22 million. I would sign up for that.
Vasquez has fallen behind 2-0. Marlins need a base runner. Like to get something going here. Fastball, slider, curveball change from Vasquez. Lively arm, you mentioned it. 97 to 99, that's the average. So has the slider and the and the curveball. He uses those along with another changeup. Outstanding pitch for him, 25% of the time.
Marlins Live post-game show presented by W.B. Mason comes your way after this one. Marlins tonight, the pitching has been the story for them. Last night it was the offense. A season high in runs and hits, 7 and 14 respectively. And now they would like to dip back into that and have a 9th inning rally. Three and 2 to Brinson. Got a piece to stay alive. Well, it's been nothing but heat, really, from Vasquez. So
he fell behind. He can work his way back into the count, so he doesn't want to allow that leadoff runner to get on base. He's had issues with this. He's only at 50%.
Lifted out to shallow right center field. Harrison, a circuitous route before finally putting that one away. A smile from Polanco. I don't think there would have been any smiles if that one fell in there.
My goodness. Harrison, he's actually going to camp, and then almost like he's thought about getting out of the way. Polanco had. Polanco just backing him up, right? So had it the whole time.
Yeah, it's Brian Holiday now. I mean, I was under the impression the center fielder is kind of the captain out there, and the center fielder was as far away as any of the three.
Well, he was trusting that if anybody was going to catch it, it would have been Harrison or Polanco. It would not have been Marte. Speaking for him,
I guess.
Well, if he wanted it a little bit more, you'd have seen a little more effort.
Well, and out nonetheless. And the Marlins down to their last 2 here tonight.
Vasquez 4 saves on the season.
Pops this one up. Bell into foul ground will put that one away. 2 outs here in the 9th. Will be a pinch hitter, Cameron Maben. Will bat in the number 9 spot here as the last hope for the Marlins.
.250 on the season. He's had good numbers throughout his career against the Pittsburgh Pirates. .333.
Vasquez working quickly there to Maben. 1-1. Maben pinch hit in last night's ball game and drew a walk. Anything to extend the game right now is certainly what Maben's looking for. Marlins have out-hit the Pirates in this game, but they trail in the all-important run column 1-0. Strike 2. On the ground to Mercer. Throw to first is in time as the Pittsburgh Pirates push one run across in the top of the 9th inning on a popped up bunt. And that was all they needed to win this ball game 1-0. It's time for tonight's Coors Light refreshing finish. And we go to the 9th inning. Starling Marte lays down the bunt, perfectly placed. He beats it out. Josh Bell with a more conventional single, kind of, sort of, past the slide of Castro, and then Dickerson with the pop-up bunt that goes over the head of Ziegler. In comes Marte to score, and that was it. The two starting pitchers were terrific in this ball game, but the Pirates creating a run in the 9th and win this one 1-0.
Well, a few missed opportunities for the Marlins. Offense 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position, but again, a well-pitched game. Richards outstanding. Marlins defensively, for the most part, very, very good tonight. Just find a way to scratch across a run. Couldn't get it done.
Well, both teams will look to win the series tomorrow afternoon. 1-0. Pirates win this one. Marlins Live postgame show is coming up with Greg and Nelly after the break.